So hello and welcome everyone to this live stream. We're going to be having a Q&A session. So everyone will have the opportunity to ask questions and get some answers. Make sure you let me know if the audio is okay. And if you're watching this recording of the live stream, make sure to say hello in the comments and let me know what you think, how you're doing. So I'm just going to get comfortable and then make an announcement about our session, and then we will begin with the Q&A period. As per usual with my lives, you can probably move ahead to about the 5-minute mark, and that's when things will get more interesting, probably. Okay, great. I can see myself here. Hopefully you can hear me okay. I'll probably bring a little bit closer. Yeah, that's probably okay. Probably even a little bit closer because now the birds are starting to sing. Okay. All right, welcome in everybody. You can drop your comments in the drop your questions in the live chat. You can hear the birds in the background. It's a good reminder to be mindful. And please do let me know if you can hear me okay from where I am. Alright, hi Brandon. Hi Mr. Man and Bree. The background noise is louder than me. Okay. So I'll have to really bring everybody in close then. Hopefully this should be enough. You can hear me. Even a little bit closer. Oh. Okay, yeah, a little bit closer again. You know, it's easy to think that, if I want to do a live stream or if I want to do teachings that, I need to be in the most quiet, the most controlled environment possible. Or for anything in our lives, right? We want to do something or we want to enjoy something. We think we need to be in the most controlled environment. But actually, in that process of allowing and letting go, letting things be the way that they are right now and doing what we think is good and right, doing what we want to do, that disturbance becomes a kind of like supporting factors for us to grow and develop. So for anyone and everyone who is here, as you know, I'm sure, some of you, that I've been traveling a lot recently, and I've been less able to give my full attention to doing live streams, talks, sharing my time with people online. So if you have any questions about your meditation practice, or if you have any general life advice kind of questions, this will be your opportunity to ask. So you can simply write a comment. You can raise your hand and come up as well, if that's your interest. So these are, I like to call them birds. I don't know what they are. I don't know what is making that noise, but that's just the noise of this live Q&A. So as long as you can hear my voice, then don't worry about the noise too much. You can simply ask your question. All right, so we have two people who might want to come up and ask a question, so I'll bring them up. Or one person. So someone asked, one sec there, tripping. So someone asks the question here about what is your best advice for dealing with addiction? I think in one way or another we're all dealing with addiction. We're dealing with some deep habit of doing an activity or a substance that is not good for us. Deep habit of doing unskillful activities. So it's not really possible for most people to just stop that habit or to get rid of that habit. But what it is possible to do is recognize clearly that that thing feels good, but it's not good for you. So it doesn't particularly matter if it feels good, but recognize deeply that it does feel good, but it's not good for you. It doesn't bring benefit into your life. It doesn't help you do what you want to do. It doesn't help you establish yourself in peace. It doesn't help you with your relationships with others. It doesn't help with anything. So you have that that seed or that angle of wisdom on the situation. Even though you're addicted, even though it's a very strong habit, you have this understanding, okay, this is pleasurable, but it's not good for me. Point blank, period. So the next time those conditions come up that make you feel that way, that make you want to do that behavior or want to take that substance, you just remember, wait a minute, this is not particularly good for me, even though it feels good. So over time, naturally, you will start to move away from that activity because you know that it's not good for you. But in the midst of all that, because that's going to be its own kind of joyride of trying to step back and move away from addiction or unskillful activities. But in the midst of all that, we need to take up the practice of doing good deeds more and more. We need to emphasize not just badness, not just addiction-ness, unskillfulness, but we need to emphasize, however we are able to do it, doing good deeds. Start to get into the business of doing good deeds. Start to get into the business of doing things out of generosity, doing things to help others, being intentionally kind, intentionally patient, intentionally compassionate. Prioritize in your life a sense of goodness, a sincere wish to be good, and then following through with that. And one of the easiest ways that we can practice this kind of activity is to be generous. So don't be so self-focused, don't be so self-fixated, but do things to benefit other people. And it might be difficult, it might be awkward to start finding a route or an avenue for you to do that, for you to say something nice to someone, for you to call up a family member or a friend and ask them if there's anything that you can do for them, right? There's an awkwardness to it. But in stepping into that awkwardness and in embracing that situation, you're learning your ability to do good, even though it's uncomfortable, and you're also diluting that unpleasantness that has come from all of this time of you doing unskillful activities. You're diluting that. And there's more and more space for you to detach and step back from that constant activity of focusing on addiction, trying to fulfill your addiction, your craving, your desire, and instead you're prioritizing to do good. And when you do that, when you try doing good, even though it's a little bit awkward, you quickly realize, surely, that you are able to do good. You are able to bring benefit. You are able to help, not just others, but also yourself. So it's not easy, but, and don't think of it as battling addiction. Think of it as getting more involved in your life, more involved in this process of taking care of yourself and others. And certainly we can do it. We can develop, we can make a lot of progress. And there are other people who have been on this path and are on this path currently to reduce their suffering, to grow, to develop, to have more peace in their lives. All right? So Trippin OTS is going to use their voice to ask a question. Go ahead, Trippin.
Yeah, thank you so much for the opportunity. I appreciate your words and you taking the time because I can tell you're a really wise man. But I just had a quick question on meditation and if what you thought, like using different things such as like maybe working out or like say riding a bike or like a motorcycle and like using that as a meditative thing to like, or like I don't know to express my thoughts.
That's fine, Trippin. So this is the what I recommend. Make anything that you do meditative, so be aware of your body in whatever activity you're doing. Be aware of your breath in whatever activity that you're doing. This is a big deal. This is, this is to start shining. This is to start growing. This is to start getting strong. When you are able to really be in the present, when you are able to develop a relationship with your body at the present moment, your breath at the present moment, and really have that relationship. That's a big deal. It's a big step. So do that. Secondly, and I want to emphasize this to everyone here, there are people, let's say for example, maybe you're hearing my voice and you're saying, whoa, this guy's got some wisdom. This is interesting. I don't often hear people talk like this, or I don't often hear this kind of vibe. And I'm not saying that I'm necessarily that person, but just for discussion's sake, right? Let's say that you might feel that way. There are people in the world who are deeply developed in compassion, in patience, in understanding about the mind and body, understanding about how to live in a way that grows and develops happiness and peace. And if we listen to those people, if we listen to talks from those people, sure, we learn some wisdom from them, but there's also this other aspect of ourselves that opens up, because we realize that we aren't just stuck in the same old consuming and media and TikTok and YouTube and like being an average person or whatever, but that we have a great capability for happiness and for peace inside of ourselves through doing certain things. And one of the main things that we can do to bring about that great peace and that great happiness is to emphasize in our life, prioritize in our life doing good, being good. So we try to practice like that. We try to bring that into our lives. Okay? And so there is a resource list that I would like to share. And of course, the people in the Discord who are watching on YouTube right now, they already have this resource list, but I'm sure some of you don't. And it's basically just some recommended teachers and links to access resources to get more and more involved in this path. So you could kind of say that I'm in the business, or I focus on training the mind. And the purpose of training the mind for me and people that I look up to and follow is to establish ourselves in peace, in freedom, to end suffering, to really change the way that we live so that instead of things getting worse and maybe, we'll be able to relax at some point, things are really getting better. We're really developing wholesome states of mind, peaceful states of mind that stay with us and that can be shared with other people. So this is a resource list to support you in that as best as I'm able to share. So if you're in the comments, if you go to the comments of this live talk and you sort by new, you should find that that comment, and please update it so everyone can see that. And we are live on the YouTube channel as well right now if you want to see me. Do you have any follow-up question, Trippin?
No, actually, thank you. You actually answered my question well.
Okay.
And, I was honestly looking for a resource list kind of like that. Because I've been like sort of like putting my toes in the water, if that makes sense.
And
like,
this
I've
is
never really like gotten
yeah, this is to the best of my abilities, to the best of my understanding. I mean, these are heavy hitters. This is the real deal stuff. This isn't whoop-de-doop-de spiritual stuff. This is the real stuff. So take a look, investigate it, book recommendation, my Discord and YouTube, recommended teachers, and some loving kindness meditations that you can check out too. But the main thing is, Trippin, the main thing is focus on virtue, focus on goodness. You can ask the question, how can I be a good person? And then you start acting that out. You start practicing that. Okay?
Sir?
All right, let's...
Excuse me.
Yeah, spiritual...
Can I add my question right here? I don't need to interrupt.
You have a question, Spiritual Fox? Go ahead.
Well, I can't speak for my own thoughts. And things, when we say about that, it makes me feel I want to do better. It makes me want to inspire others during that time, and try not to let them give up hope. Sometimes it's the real world hard, and life is not very easy to be. And I do appreciate the life that I have. And listen, you need to understand that sometimes, well, if you're going along with this, do you ever remember from your history class, from about black people, right? You, you get that? I don't. But here's this. Sometimes other black people like us very much, you know, feel like we're along with the whole world and feel like we're just slaves to their eyes and feel like we are not whole, we're not people. But I just wish, sometimes I wish there would be changes around here that black people would be into others, but I don't think that's how it works.
Okay.
Sometimes I need to move on in the past and move on and stay in the present, try to change.
Okay.
That's why I. That's why
Yeah.
I just always just like speak louder
Okay. Thank you
for
for
the world.
your sharing, Spiritual Fox. Very much appreciated.
You're welcome.
Yeah, you're welcome to join the Discord server, which you should be able to find in the top comment of this post. You'll see the resource list, and the Discord is there, and also the YouTube where we're live streaming. So if you want to see me, you can do that. So let's go now to future television. You have a question, and then we'll go over to the YouTube and answer some of these questions that are coming through.
How are you doing, Monk Life? I hope you're doing well.
I am. I'm okay. I'm doing okay.
Yeah, that's great to know. Monk Life, I've been in psychodynamic therapy for close to 4 years, and I've also done LSD and mushrooms for therapeutic purposes, and a lot of this is influenced by my struggles with my father, and knowing where he came from and what he has been through, it's a lot. Um, but the truth is, it's very difficult for me to sort of alleviate my almost hate-like emotions towards him, and it's something I've been actively trying to remedy for almost all my life. But despite the therapy, despite the LSD, despite prayer, it's to no avail. There's always something always sitting there in the heart, the back of my mind. That's, people say you've got to let it go. I've seen other therapists who've said, you've got to allow the experience to heal. You can't. You've done the psychodynamic therapy, and you've talked about it. You know the why, but now it's time for the God to heal. You can't keep picking it. I don't know what you would advise.
Yeah, my advice is to accept that you feel that way, right? And focus on not getting rid of that feeling, not changing it, not solving it, but focus on loving yourself. And loving yourself, recognizing that big tendency to pick at this scab that, is not really probably necessary to pick at anymore. But even in the midst of all that, really focusing on loving yourself. And I would see how deep you're willing to go in that practice of focusing on yourself, right? Not focusing on your dad or these other people, but focusing on yourself and bringing this sense of love. Because you don't hate yourself, right? You don't have you're not picking the scab of hating yourself. At least that's not in your mind, right? So see how deep you can go in applying this balm, not to your dad or to that relationship or that habit, but applying this balm of friendliness and lovingness to yourself without any kind of justification or excuse or anything, but just apply that love to yourself. And there's certain exercises you can do to do that. Sounds like you're doing a lot of different things, so I would recommend you listen to Sharon Salzberg and check out some of these loving kindness meditations. Research it, listen to what these people have to say, because it seems like it's a serious thing for you, and it's something that you're serious about working with. So, check out these resources and let me know what comes up from that. Okay?
time on class. Thank you so much.
All right, so we're going to go to the YouTube live now, and we're going to answer some of these questions that people have had. Someone said, Bhante, do you believe in past regression? I don't know what it means, so I can't say if I believe in it or not. Mr. Man with the can says, how do you deal with the fact, often for the greater good, you have to do harm to do good? I don't deal with it because I don't believe it. And oftentimes, like this intellectualizing or philosophizing about good and bad is just wasted energy. You know, it's just nonsense. We need people to be kind to old people. We need people to be generous with their money. We need people to be generous with their time. We need people to be a kind of pillar of restraint and patience and kindness in the world. We don't need philosophers talking about absolute good and absolute bad, or what's really good, what's really bad. Give your grandma a call. That's really good. If you see a homeless person on the street you can see that they're suffering, right? If you see they're suffering, say to them, hey, I'm about to go into this 7-Eleven, this grocery store. Is there anything you want? I could get you something. Do good and practice to really detach and let go of this importance that we give to our philosophizing and our intellectualizing all the time. Okay? So do good deeds is my answer to that question. Noah says, that's my nephew's name, so that's an important name to me. Noah Whalen says, how can one reach deeper states of meditation? So we reach deeper states of meditation through consistency and also relationships with good friends. Good, we can say spiritual friends, but it means it kind of means like if you were a strength athlete. Oops, a little bit of an echo there. If you were like a strength athlete or a bodybuilder or a marathon runner, something like that. And how do you get better at that? How do you go deeper into that skill? Well, it's pretty for sure how you do that. You be around people, you listen to people, but especially you be around people who are skilled in that, who are more advanced in you than that. You spend time around them. You make friends with them. And the other thing is that you try again and again consistently. It's not about intensity. It's not about having this breakout experience. Breakout experiences aren't so important. In terms of selling something to you, like if I as a meditation teacher wanted to sell you on my meditation program, I would find some way for you to have some special experience where it felt like you got your money's worth. And now you want to, you want to keep buying in, right? But actually it's the practice to get into deeper states of meditation is all about consistency. Trying again and again and again to meditate, to see what meditation is about, being around people who are more skillful than you, and right at the heart of it, right at the first step of becoming a better meditator is becoming more good, doing more good. Really asking the question of how can I be a good person? That supports and enables you to have a stabilized, simplified, open mind that can get into these deeper states of meditation. Okay? So that's my answer. All right, so for everyone who is listening on the Reddit talk, on the Humans Being Bros subreddit, I am Bhante Varrapanyo. I am the Buddhist monk. I'm from America, currently living in Vietnam. I've been a monk since 2018, and I teach meditation and goodness. I try to help people in the practice of doing good, being good, and kind of humans being bros. I try to help people in that, and that helps me to grow in being a bro and being good, and my meditation as well. So if you would like to ask a question, you're welcome to raise your hand and I can bring you up to the stage, and you can use your voice to ask a question to a Buddhist monk. And there's also the option of going over to the YouTube channel and watching this stream live. And if you go to the comments of this live talk, you will see those links to some resources and also to the YouTube so that you can join live. You can see me from my temple here in Vietnam if you're interested. So we'll take another question from the YouTube chat. Chelsea says, what is one way to practice patience and compassion for someone who has said or done something that evokes a visceral reaction in you? And how can you balance that with compassion for yourself? So recognize that people do things because...
Hello?
Recognize that people do things because they are really in a position of confusion or suffering. People act in a way that causes suffering because they themselves are confused or in states of suffering, right? So understand that it's not this big bad person, it's a human being who is suffering, and because of certain causes and conditions in their life, they acted out in that way, or that action happened. And don't take it so personal in regards to that person or in regards to yourself. And the other part of that, how can you balance that with compassion for yourself, is that really I recommend you just focus on that compassion for yourself. Don't worry too much about developing the compassion or loving kindness for this person that you hate. That's really difficult to do. But at the very least, you can recognize that hatred for someone else is burdensome. It's a stress that you put on yourself, and there's no reason for you to keep putting the burden of hate towards someone else on yourself. So put that down, detach from that kind of justification of hatred that we all fall into. Not only do I like this person, but they're really a bad person, right? And that's convenient for us. That's convenient for our dislike and our hatred. Not only do we dislike them, but they're really evil and bad, right? And it just kind of puts us into this cycle of burning ourselves up and wasting energy. So that's my answer to that question. Thank you for asking, Chelsea. And final question on YouTube, and then we'll go to some of the people in the live talk on Reddit. Mr. Perfect Cell says, hello, Mr. Monk Sir. I have a question for you. How do I make it easier to put into action what I have planned for myself? I think we just have to get into the habit of taking that first step, even though we're uncomfortable, even though it's awkward, even though the situation is not perfect, is not ideal. Take that step. It's almost like we're always standing on the edge of our lives, this cliff. And we think that we have to, get to some other side. We have to become some other person. We have to jump over this massive cliff, or we have to climb down to the bottom, right? We have to get off this cliff somehow. When we're in this, we want to do something, we want to develop, but we're not able to do it, right? And we're not in the perfect situation to do it. We don't see stairs in front of us, but we're just standing at the edge of this cliff. So in that situation, and I'm working with this, I'm trying to practice this more and more. When you're standing at that cliff, all you have to do is take the first step. And then you're doing it. You're falling, You're going out of that depression, being holed up in your room, being holed up in your mind and your negative thought cycle, right? And now you're walking outside. Now you're going for a walk. No, it's not perfect. No, you're not walking up the ideal ladder of everything that you want in the perfect conditions to get it, right? But you are taking that step to refresh and restart. And I think that's what's most important, that we learn that we can take that step even though we're not in the ideal situation. The ideal situation is never going to come. The ideal situation comes when we are in that moment. when we find ourselves in that moment where we have taken those steps, when we've been willing to step off the cliff. And things tend to work out. We tend to get to where we need to be one way or another. So just try. And if you can't do what you want to do, just try going for a walk. Sometimes that can help a lot. I got in trouble once from someone here on the, when I was giving a Reddit talk, someone came up and asked a question about, how do we deal with depression? I'm depressed. How do I fix it? How do I solve it? Or they asked some kind of complicated question. And one part of the answer was, try going for a walk. And then I got in trouble with someone else. They said, this person asked how to deal with depression, and this monk said, go for a walk, But sometimes that can really help. And at least it shows us that we don't have to stay in this cyclical pattern of like beating ourselves up or being in this dark hole or being hiding ourselves. Yeah, you feel miserable and you feel in a cloud and a haze. Go for a walk. Step out. Have some air and be exposed. Let the sweet non-judgmental awareness of other beings expose your inner nature, your inner freedom, your inner non-complicated, non-contrived version of yourself. Because you've got to think for a second, it's really weird that this is the case, but like how we view ourselves, right? Like how you really know yourself and how you really view yourself. It's all this memory and personal experience and thought and judgment, and it's so much stuff that we have in terms of how we view ourselves, and we think that that's like our real self, right? And we worry, we get self-conscious when we think about, well, other people are seeing us, they're going to see, this complicated, bad, messed up, twisted person or whatever our personal neuroses is. But consider that when every other person in the future, but for our whole lives, every person that we see has none of the baggage about us that we pile onto ourselves or how we view ourselves. None of it. So there's this freshness, this freedom, this realness that other people see. There's purity that other people see. That's really liberating and wonderful, and we got to be willing to lean into that. And that's the nice thing about going for a walk or being in social situations, right? Is it kind of chips off the mud of our self-fixation, of our, this dirtiness that we pile on, all this mud all over our body, of our judgments, and it's just got a lot brighter in here. All of this self stuff that other people don't even see any of that. They see none of it. So, who are you really? And I think going for a walk helps us to experience that. So let's bring up, or let's open up Human. Human, you have a question you want to ask?
Yes. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, you're good.
All right, wonderful. How can one find satisfaction or contentment more, I think it's easier we're speaking right now?
Yeah. So really take a step back from your life, right? Your job, your business, your relationships, where you're going tomorrow, where you got to be soon, where you were yesterday. Just take a quick step back from that. It's not difficult to do that. It's just not something that's normal for us to do. But take a big step back for that and just start to notice what it really means to be alive right now for you. There's an experience. It's almost, to say there's an experience is almost saying too much. It's kind of weird, but there's a body that's here right now. There's a hearing, a seeing, a smelling, a mind, an awareness that's here right now. There's a gravity to the body right now. And we have a natural ability to appreciate that. Just what's happening right now, just the way that things are right now. No past, no future, no, where I'm going to go, no Tesla, nothing. But just this moment, and even though there might be an uncomfortableness to it, maybe there might be a sense of it not being the way that we'd like it to be, or even that we have aspirations to develop. We want to go farther, or we want to, there's something we really want to do. But there's also this sense of noticing and breathing in life that is just kind of present in any moment. And we really can appreciate that. So it's just remembering to take that step back and appreciate this. And that appreciation is so natural, it's so intuitive, because it's really lush, right? It's really intimate, it's really alive, this experience that we're having right now. Even though there's some friction, we might have a backache, we might have this or that, but there's an aliveness here that you can't help but appreciate it. You can't help but be almost in a state of awe about it. So take that step back regularly and breathe and appreciate this life, this body, this experience that's always changing, different colors, different sounds, different smells, tastes, feelings in the body. It's really interesting. And to look at that, to be with that, is where we find ourselves in the present moment. We find ourselves really to be in the here and now. Okay?
Thank you for that. You helped put things into perspective.
Yeah, and for everyone who is here and interestingly listening to this live stream, please do go to the comments of this. Please go to the comments of this live talk, and you will see in the comments a list of resources, and you will also see a link to this live stream on YouTube. So if you want to check that out, please do. We are live on YouTube, so you can see me here at the temple. So we'll have another question here and if you do see the comment with the resources in it, please do update that so that people can see it easily. We've got the Discord. I have a Discord server where we have a big meditation community there. We meet regularly for meditation practice. The YouTube channel link, a book recommendation, some recommended teachers for guided meditations, for learning about real meditation practice and kind of down-to-earth spirituality, Buddhist philosophy, and also some links for loving kindness meditations. So I highly recommend that you check those out if you're interested in what I've been talking about. So let's go now to the other brown guy. You have a question you like to ask?
Oh, yeah. So I have a question and a half, actually, if that's okay.
All right, go ahead.
The half question is, I wasn't here for the beginning of the talk, but if you could kind of give a brief background on how you got into your spiritual calling and becoming a Buddhist, and how that sort of came to be. What was the changing point in your life? That'd be great. But my main question is, myself and even my partner, we live a more spiritual kind of lifestyle. We believe in the planet, we believe in higher consciousness that's good, that's, we trust in the universe and everything. And it comes to a point, and it's something that baffles my mind almost, like this lack of empathy in the world at the moment. How do you sort of deal with that when you come across it? You know, when you come across a person who just lacks that sort of empathy for the world and for the common person, for the fellow humans. Yeah.
Yeah, my journey to being a monk and becoming a meditation teacher and a teacher or a reminder of goodness and skillful living came from a very simple source, very simple turning point. Um, a deep awareness of a lot of suffering and a wish to deal with that suffering, to end that suffering. So I looked for ways to do that, and I eventually landed on Buddhism, meditation, being a part of an intentional community as the source to deal with that suffering. And so now, years later, after going through that, I became a Buddhist monk, and now have been successful in doing my own kind of intentional community and community building. So I have an online meditation center, online intentional community that is very successful. Probably the most active meditation community on Discord, which is a really major social media platform. So I'm very happy about that. We need to focus on finding routes and avenues for practicing mindfulness, practicing detachment, practicing doing good deeds, listening to Dhamma talks. You don't need to listen to vague talks from vague people, you know, Jim and Joe Swami. No. You need to listen to talks from well-known advisors. You need to make it a part of your life. The resource list that I'm, sharing here, Ajahn Brahm, Thich Nhat Hanh, Sharon Salzberg, these are heavy hitters. These are the Mr. Olympia lineup. These are the MLB rookies of the year, only they're not rookies. They've been in the game for 20, 30 years, and they're still swinging home runs. They're still putting Babe Ruth to shame. So, it's a question of, do you want to invest more and more in raising you can say it in so many ways, but do you want to invest more and more in raising the bar for doing good, raising the bar for being compassionate, raising the bar for being wise? And if you do want to participate in that, you need to emphasize doing good deeds, not thinking about good deeds or philosophizing about them or worrying about the lack of people doing good deeds, but you need to find a route and an avenue to do good deeds more and more, whatever that is. You have to question, you have to investigate, and then you do it. But the question is, how can I do good deeds? Not what is good, what is bad, why are these people doing that, why aren't those people doing this? That's not helpful for anyone. That's what most people are doing. How can we do good deeds? How can we practice mindfulness? That is, how can we practice to restart and refresh at this moment? To realize that your heart is beating right here and right now. Your lungs are breathing right here and right now. It's not going to be happening at any other time. So do good deeds, practice mindfulness, and also practice detachment. So learning to let go of those tensions, those strong ideas that are non-practical, that come up in our mind, be aware of them, and then also be aware of your capacity to put them down. I think I'm going to have my third cup of coffee today. That's too much. 2 is enough. Come on. People here who are drinking 3 cups of coffee a day, enough. What are you doing, right? So we have our second cup, and then it's 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, whatever time it is, and we say, well, what the heck? I'm going to have that third cup. Detach. We don't need to just this is how I like to say it. Just because you pick something up doesn't mean you need to put it in your mouth. Just because you put something in your mouth doesn't mean you need to swallow it. Just because you've picked something up off the ground, put it in your mouth and swallowed it, doesn't mean that you need to do it all over again. Do good deeds, practice mindfulness, and practice detachment, and find a way to do that. And so I try to support people as a monk to find avenues, to find routes for doing that. And it's really how invested you are, it's how interested you are in really doing this and really developing. So do you want to be a part of a intentional community online, a meditation community? Well, my Discord server's right there. Do you want to get a book, read a book about this kind of stuff? There's a book recommendation right here. Do you want to listen to some talks from high level heavy hitter? This is as real as I can put it to you. MLG, top of the line gamers. These are the people at the very top of the ranks of whatever video game you're thinking about. That's the quality of these people. Their names are right here. So look on YouTube and listen to them, because this is the real deal. And it has nothing to do with religion. It has to do with virtue, goodness, and wisdom, and training the mind. This is something we should all consider, at least. Okay? Thank you, that other Brown.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you so much. I hope that I'll meet some of you, that you'll join the Discord server, and we'll keep in touch, and we'll all be a part of a community practicing together.
100%.
Yeah. So let's go now to Snapter. Snapter, you have a question or something you want to share? Before you go, Snapter, I just want to answer one of the top comments here, which is about parallels of Christianity and Buddhism. The answer is simply to investigate Buddhism. And don't just have this a vague idea about Buddhism, but you're talking to a Buddhist monk. You're talking to a Buddhist priest right now. Check out the book, No Mud, No... the Bible is an incredibly difficult book to read. Incredibly laborious and draining. It's a tough read, right? You've got to be a special kind of person to be trudging through that, looking for a deep wisdom. And I'm not trying to bad talk the Bible, it's just how it was written. It was written for people many hundreds of years ago, thousands of years ago. So if you're interested in the parallels of Buddhism and Christianity, check out this book called No Mud, No Lotus, The Art of Transforming Suffering. I really recommend you check it out. And it's easy to read, and it's insightful, and it's non-religious. But it's about an art form of transforming our suffering, dealing with our suffering in a skillful way. And who wouldn't want to know about that? Whether you're Christian or Muslim or whatever. Even if you're a hardcore Christian, even if you're a hardcore, Muslim person, Islamic person, give yourself some wiggle room to at least look into these things. Take a look at this book and see what it's about. And then also recommend to teachers here. And these teachers are accessible, simple, and clear speaking. Okay, so if you search on YouTube for them, you will find some helpful information. So the birds here at the temple are starting to sing again. So there's going to be some extra background noise here, but hopefully it won't disturb anyone too much. Let me just check the YouTube. We are live streaming on YouTube right now, so if anyone would like to see me at the temple, if you go to the live stream, you'll be able to see me in the temple where I live, in Vietnam. Yeah, the third coffee is too much, Mindy and Brandon. The third coffee is too much. We've all been there. We all are hoping that we'll find ourselves there again, but it's too much, Two is enough. For me, I do one in the morning and one in the early afternoon. As early in the morning as is possible, and as early in the afternoon as is possible. You don't always need to drink coffee. But that's how I do it. So we can hear the birds are singing, but we're going to continue on. We did have a question here from Karen, or Quran. Quran says, Quran. Karen's name is pronounced in a very mystical way that I don't really know how to pronounce. But one day we'll get it. Especially Quran, if you Quran, if you come out to visit me at a monastery or stay with me in Asia, then I'll remember your name quickly. So Quran says, hello Bhante, is goal setting and planning for the future directly in opposition to the Four Noble Truths? Is there a way to ethically set goals and strive to improve? Yeah, you set goals and you plan for the future according to a compassionate aspiration, your wish to develop and advance yourself and others. Not for selfish reasons of, I'm going to get this and then I'm going to have, this and then I'll be able to do that and people will look at me this way. No, you have to take a step back from those kinds of intentions. Instead, have a real compassionate aspiration to bring benefit to yourself and to the world. And really tune in with that compassionate aspiration. And from that place, take those steps to fulfill your vow, your aspiration to do good, to bring benefit. And in that way, it's very good to have this kind of planning and goal setting and working in that way. But just be practical, don't overthink it, and don't be too selfish. The work is not to reject yourself. The work is not to overindulge yourself or to make yourself this big deal. The work is to take care of yourself. And it's that simple. We show up and we endeavor to take care of ourselves in any given moment. And that is really the work that we do. Okay, that's the focus. So I hope everyone is enjoying the sound of those lovely birds. And I like calling them birds, but they're like cicadas or something. They're not, I don't think they're actually birds, but what are words anyway, right? I like to call them birds. Because they're mysterious. I mean, who knows what they are? And it's the same with a lot of our worries and a lot of our ideas about the world and, things that restrict us and things that set up kind of boundaries in our life. Who knows what's going on? We just need to try our best. We need to step into the world from this vow, this intention to bring benefit to ourselves and to others. Right? I don't think crickets should be that loud. Maybe cicadas, some kind of insect. All right, so Snapter, go ahead. What would you like to share? Go ahead, I can hear you.
I believe actually that Bojo was before me.
No, go ahead.
He joined. You sure?
Yeah, just quick, be considerate.
How's your time in Vietnam doing?
Oh my goodness. I tell you what, Vietnam's my favorite country by far, I've got to say that. And I'm working on establishing a meditation center here in Vietnam, but the government is suppressive and restrictive. So it's not easy to establish a meditation center. They don't have the same kind of religious freedom as what you will have in the West, in America, for example. So anyways, I'm really enjoying it. A lot of time working with kids, teaching meditation, giving talks with 100 plus people in attendance in amazing environments. So it's been really amazing here in Vietnam, and I'm hoping to stay here as long as I'm able to. All right. Thank you, Snapter. Okay.
If I have one more question.
Yeah. What's your other question?
What's your thoughts on being Buddhist, but also believing in other things too?
Believe in whatever you want to believe in. I mean, that's how I approach it. Believe in whatever you want to believe in, but do good deeds. Practice mindfulness. I mean, come on, everybody, right? Everybody who's here, come on. Be aware of what's happening in the present moment. Not your past, your future, your worries, your desires, but tune in to what's happening right now. This is important. And don't take your beliefs too seriously. Whether it's Buddhism, whether it's something else, a belief is just another thing, another noise. Don't take it too seriously. Try to do good. Try to help. Try to take care. And do some meditation while you're at it. Join the Discord, join our community, Snapter. I'd love to practice meditation together with you.
As a Christian, I don't really follow all those things, but I
Well,
do totally agree with what you're saying.
meditation is not religious, and it's just a training of the mind. That's it. So,
It is a spiritual connection.
no, it's not a spiritual connection. I mean, is it a spiritual connection to sit right here and focus on your breath? Is that a spiritual connection?
It can be if you take it that way.
Well, take it the way you want to take it. But I recommend just doing good deeds and take what you want out of Buddhism. Like I said, that book that I recommend, No Mud, No Lotus, The Art of Transforming Suffering. Check out that book. I mean, I'll send you a copy. I'll order a copy and send it to you. You can also get it free online, but it doesn't matter if you're hyper super religious. You got to give yourself some wiggle room to check out other things, to look into other things. I mean, I'm sure you'll find some young people, some people in their teens who are very Christian, right? And they'll say, I'm not looking at any Buddhist kind of thing. No matter what you tell me, you're not going to trick me, Mr. Monkman. And then what are they spending most of their day on? They're watching TikTok. They're watching all kinds of crazy people do crazy things, talk about nonsense all the time, right? So we've got to be willing to look into things that have a deeper quality to them and not to shy away because we have some expectation. But instead, okay, you have an expectation, you have a background belief that's important to you, great. But still, you can go and investigate this thing, take a look at it. See if there's something there that can bring you benefit, that can support you in practicing what you want to practice, believing in what you want to believe in. All right? Thank you, Snap.
I totally agree on what you're saying there.
Okay.
I think Christians need to be more open and need to look at things more instead of sheltering themselves from the real world.
Yeah, be open
And be more kind to others.
and be kind. Okay.
Time.
Thank you, Snap. And I like your cat picture. So look, we're going to go now to a little Grammy who's been anxiously waiting to speak. What do you want to say, little Grammy?
Hi, it's been really great hearing you say this.
Yes.
I'm going through a bit at the moment in terms of religion. I was raised in a very strict religion, and I now realise that it was, I don't know if I can swear here, but it was bullshit. I'm just now exploring other avenues. I don't quite care for religion, but I have been through a lot of therapy. I've been in therapy for about 10 years, and things like mindfulness and just doing good deeds, the things that you're saying, are things that I feel like I do every day as a human being. Like, do other people not feel that?
Doesn't matter if you feel it. Doesn't matter if you feel it. You need to do it to a greater and greater degree. If you're already doing some of it, then that's good. If you're already doing some of it, that's good. So you just to keep doing it. Don't give up. And look, you've got to listen to people who are more experienced than you. How old are you?
How old am I?
Yes.
May I ask why that's relevant?
So we all have different experience levels. Oftentimes our age can share a dimension of our experience level. But anyway, this is the point. We have vague notions about spirituality and doing good, and vague notions about our body and mind and reality and what's good and what's not. But a lot of people do not have vague notions about these things and really have a powerful ability to transform suffering and to teach and encourage other people about how to take their mind deeper. And so I recommend that you listen to some of those people as they're listed in the resource tab. So we're going to go now to Teo Mofajo. They're crying with their emojis in the live chat, in the Reddit talk. So you have something to share, Tao?
I have a couple of questions. So basically, I've sort of dabbled with different types of meditation. You got focus, loving kindness, meditation. You got mantra. You have noting. You know, but I think I said loving kindness as well. But what I would like to know is, what meditation do you do? And what I find is sometimes I get bored while I'm meditating. Doing one meditation, I might start doing loving kindness meditation, and then I switch it up and I start doing noting meditation, and then I do breath, and then I do counting.
Okay, all right, hold on here. So who have you listened to? What talks have you listened to?
I've really been listening to teachers.
So you can stop. You can stop right there. You can stop right there. Start listening to teachers, to talks, point blank period. If you're serious about this, that's what you have to do. That's it. You've been leaving out a massive dimension of the path and the practice. Massive fundamental dimension of it. So you need to bring that into your practice. Simple as that. Massive dimension of wisdom and intelligence and instruction and guidance and everything that you're vaguely asking me about right now. Well, what do you do? And etc. You haven't been listening to people who are way more experienced than me in a secular way. I'm not trying to push you towards religion or a religious teacher. I'm talking about secular, at least as I understand secular, scientific wizards of meditation that have countless talks. And you can go and pick your poison and start listening to those talks, and it's going to totally open up your practice for sure. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Is that clear?
Yeah. Well, yes. It's just, I guess you're saying don't mix up your meditations. Just try and stick to one. And my second question is, I know you're a Buddhist. Have you ever done lucid dreaming while meditating? Is that an aspect of your religious beliefs? And have you found a meditation that can increase lucid dreaming?
Listen, please. You need to listen to talks from people who are way more experienced than me. You need to make it a part of your practice. It's like let's call you a prodigy for whatever reason. It's like a prodigy theoretical physicist who has been isolated their entire life. And sure, they're a prodigy. They've been so successful in theoretical physics and meditation. And from your questioning, you haven't necessarily been that successful with it, but let's just say that you have. And now, not like submissiveness, not like now you need to have a master or a guru or become a religious student, but now this prodigy in quantum physics, whatever, is able to meet with and listen to and connect with people who are way incredibly experienced and can give guidance and can give clear instruction from a place of deep experience, right? So start to listen to those kinds of, you've never listened to any talks from teachers or things like that?
I've listened to talks of Buddhist teachers, but the main ones, but offhand I can't remember their names.
Yeah, so I would recommend bringing that more into your practice, and they also have guided meditations, especially Ajahn Brahm. I really recommend Ajahn Brahm. The meditation practice is about consistency, not intensity. Keep your method simple and direct. If you invest in your practice a lot, then you can eventually attend a meditation retreat where you can even further get into your practice. But in the Buddhist tradition, we do not in any way emphasize either interpretation of dreams or to have lucid dreams. Okay?
Oh, all right. I think I read a book by a Buddhist monk who's quite senior who does lucid dreaming, but I might be mistaken in that.
Probably
All right,
mistaken.
thanks.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Take care.
Bye.
And if not mistaken, then, there's all kinds of monks in the world. Some of them probably like lucid dreaming, but in Buddhism, it's not emphasized in any way. The interpretation of dreams or trying to have lucid dreams. The work of Buddhist meditation is to face our suffering and to transform it to happiness, to peace, to wisdom, to deep understanding. So let's go now to Cadillac blood. Cadillac, are you there?
Okay, I'll try to, there are two situations that lead to the same question. I'll try to be brief. The first one is that lately I've been in a position that I have had to receive a lot of help, which is not something that was a thing up to now in my life. And this is something that's difficult for me, not because of receiving help itself, but I'm always worried about being actually taken advantage of these people. Like, when do I actually need help, and when can I actually help myself, but I'm making it easy by accepting what others have to give me? This is the first situation.
All right, one situation at a time. So you've got this energy about this situation. Put forth effort to grow in whatever the situation is, to take care of yourself. That doesn't mean that you go and walk on broken feet without crutches, but that you actively have this intention to become more independent and to really take advantage of the resources that you have right now to develop your independence, right? And you have that intention, so keep it and keep working with that. Secondly, allow people to help. And be really present with people helping. Be there with them. And yeah, you feel uncomfortable, but there's a kind of transformation that can come from being with uncomfortableness. And you've got to understand as well that allowing people to help you is a real gift that you give to those people. Not everyone has, a lot of people, when I say, okay, you need to do good deeds, you need to help other people, you need to prioritize goodness in your life, they don't know what to do. They don't know what they're supposed to do. You're in a situation where you have people who really do have an opportunity to do good, so let them do good and receive that and accept it and be with that awkwardness and that uncomfortableness. There's nothing wrong with people helping you out. It's good that they're doing good.
Yeah, I just worry there is a point in which I'm taking advantage.
There's not a point that you're taking advantage if you are endeavoring to become more independent as you are able. We're a community, okay? We're all helping each other. One way or another, we rely on others to live, to be independent, to be free, to be happy. Every single person, doesn't matter how wealthy they are, doesn't matter how many muscles they got, we're all relying on each other. So use that energy to work as you're able to, become more independent, and express your appreciation of those people helping you. But also, you got to let them help. You got to get out of the way and you got to let them help, because that's a really wonderful thing for those people to be able to do, especially with a good person like you, right? You have that kind of consideration where you especially don't want to take advantage of them. So let them help. Get out of the way a little bit. Okay?
Thank you. Yep, okay. I do have this second situation, but I don't know if you want to let someone speak. It's alright as well.
Go ahead.
Today I am especially a bit confused. I went to my therapist, and she did mention that I am often disappointed at people, but I don't speak out about that. And this is because I try to internally work this out, because they don't have anything to do with me being disappointed at anything they did to me, or that they did in altogether. But we did talk about how sometimes it's not something I can work out myself, because it's actually something that is out there in the world. The source of the disappointment may not be me, but actually then it's just I don't know when to find this balance, because I just don't want to be this person that just throws negativity out by telling people to please not do something.
Yeah.
So like, how do I make, when do I allow myself to be disappointed at people, and when should I say, hey, no, stop?
Don't overthink it. And don't worry too much about other people. Try to be a good person. Try to be kind. Try to be good. Try to be patient. Try to be understanding. We've all got a lot of issues, a lot of burdens, a lot of background static that we've got to deal with. So, just let people do their thing. Don't get too involved, and appreciate what you appreciate and dislike what you don't like, but don't take anything too seriously, and don't overthink it. Use that energy instead to really be aware of your body at those moments, at those times. Be aware of your breath, and just let the flow things through. Let the flow of the water take those leaves of judgments and complicatedness and just move it on through. And be there. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
So,
by the way, I'm in the Discord and I really like it, so I recommend Discord to everyone.
all right, so Cadillac really recommends the Discord to everyone. And if you go to the comments or you go to my Reddit profile, you'll find the Discord link. You'll find the YouTube link as well. So we're going to see if we have one more question here on the YouTube. And we do. So Bree says, would it be skillful or unskillful to invite someone to come to the temple with someone who has previously harmed you, in hopes that they will find their Buddha mind or find enlightenment? Okay, so would it be a good idea to invite someone or to try and help someone who has previously harmed us, in hopes that they will become enlightened or be able to grow from that? Sure, as long as you're safe. We've really got to find our balance point before we start trying to balance the world, right? So many people who are barely able to stand on 2 feet are trying to balance the world on the top of their head. And so when it comes to other people, it's great that we want to take care of them, and it's great that we want to help them, but we have to really be cognizant, really be grounded in knowing where we are and what we are able to do safely and skillfully. And instead of trying to solve the problem of that other person, actually you can zone in, you can focus in on that intention, that feeling, that friendliness, that wish for that other person to be free from their suffering, for that other person to be free and to be enlightened in their life. And instead of worrying so much about solving their problem, focus on generating that energy of wishing for them to be happy, for them to be free of suffering. Okay? So thank you for that final question. So everyone who is here, we are going to finish out. We are going to finish with a short guided meditation. Nothing too exciting, nothing too long, but just a short guided meditation, okay? So I invite everyone to join in that. Just take a moment to make sure that your body is comfortable and stable. Maybe adjust your posture for a sec. You can close your eyes and start to not focus on, but become aware of the breath flowing in and flowing out. And right now, with your eyes closed and your body sitting somewhat still, aware of your breath, the breath flowing in and out. Take a big step back from who you think you are, what you think the world is, and your worries, your desires. Sure, they're all there, all your thoughts, all your problems. But as you're sitting still and aware of the breath, aware of the body, just take a big step back from that whole situation and give yourself this time, allow yourself this moment to just breathe and appreciate the body that you have right now, the experience of it, not your ideas about it. Just sitting still. Hearing sound. Feeling the body, aware of the body. Aware of the breath flowing in and flowing out. And really knowing in your heart that it doesn't need to be more complicated than this. Take a big step back. Lay down, sit down. Get into the bathtub, get into the shower. Just be aware of your breath, your body, the experience of life instead of our ideas and judgments and thoughts about it. Just breathing and being aware. And with all of our heart, with all of our sincerity that we have at this moment, we can all say together, we can all repeat together towards ourselves, may I be happy. Repeat after me and say to yourself, may I be happy. May I live a good life. May I be a friend to myself and those who are around me. May I truly be a good person. Take a deep breath and repeat after me. May happiness flow in my life. May those who I love be happy. May those who I barely know be happy. May those who I dislike be happy. By the power of my sincerity, may all sufferings in this world come to an end. May it be so. May it be so. May it really be so. Okay, I'd like to thank everyone for joining in this live talk. Thank you to everyone for joining in the YouTube live stream, especially those people coming from our Discord community. A bit of echo there. And also I want to say thank you to everyone who showed up on the live talk on Reddit, on the Are Humans Being Bros subreddit. I hope that this brought some benefit to your life, and I definitely invite you, if you're interested in this kind of stuff moving forward, to join the Discord, to join the YouTube, and to use me as an access point for resources in meditation, in Buddhist philosophy, not religion, but philosophy, way of life. And if I can help, I will try to help. Thank you all for being here. May you be happy, may you be peaceful, may you be free from suffering. I look forward to seeing you again sometime soon. Take care. Yeah, thank you to everyone, especially who has joined on the YouTube live stream. Glad that we were able to put on this event. And just going to be heading back to my kuti, my room where I live here at the temple, and actually tomorrow I'll be going to a new area. Well, it's the area I was at before, but wow, look at this. It's a mom cat and kittens. They're a little bit scared. They just want to play together, so I'm not gonna walk over there. I actually, you wouldn't believe it, but I gave a Dhamma talk here in the big meditation hall. I'm sitting in this chair over here yesterday, and that was like the biggest talk that I've ever given. You know, the most people that I've ever given a talk to. So I was very nervous, but it went okay. This whole thing was filled up with people, and we had a translator. I have a nun who helps me to translate while I'm living here. So a little bit of a tour of the temple at night. I think the Wi-Fi will go out in a moment, but yeah, you know, people often say like that, you know, they say, thank you for your time, but this is my practice, you know, this is my meditation to teach and learn at the same time. And it inspires me to be, you know, really in the present and energized because there's other people who are joining and participating and interested. There's dogs over here. Shh. Mofak. 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 Shh. Mofak is Buddha in Vietnam. Phok is Buddha, means Buddha. So that is just like a Buddhist greeting here in Vietnam. Mofak. This temple here in Vietnam, this temple that I'm at right now, I was talking to the master here about, you know, teaching regularly and staying here, and basically he said that if I was teaching every day, you know, 2 times a day as I like to do, and hosting meditation retreat here at the temple, actually the government will get involved. So it's not possible to do that right now with the current state of the country. Only certain monks are supposed to teach. For some reason dogs they really get excited at night, you know. In the daytime they're not really barking about anything, but at night if you're walking then they can get to be very serious. Alright, so that's all, folks. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below with your favorite color. See you next time. Bye-bye.